Hey guys, it's Clay from Clear Critique, and it's time to recommend some great movies from last year. 2022. A year where franchises either soared or pooped the bed. A year of 3 Pinocchio movies ranging from good to bad to repulsive. A year with a lot of 5s and 6s, but still plenty of 8s that will probably lose to the underwritten, overlong Oscar bait The Fablemans. Good stuff. So with all of that out of the way, here's my list of the top 10 movies from 2022. Please subscribe to support the channel, and comment below with your own list. Here we go.
Oh, yes.
First up is Aftersun, a strange experience that wheedled its way into my head and has only improved the more I think about it. The plot is loose, to say the least. Bare bones, it's about a father and a daughter enjoying a trip to Turkey. On the surface, that's literally it. And trust me when I say that I'm not a huge fan of movies with near non-existent narratives. If a film is pretty but the story is crap, frankly I'd rather stare at a lava lamp listening to Spotify. But Aftersun succeeds where snoozers like Nomadland fail through its subtext, themes, and especially performances. There are nuggets of drama that you pick up as the story progresses, and it's very much up to you to interpret, which could be frustrating for some people, but the decider here is that I wanted to understand. These characters are so interesting and the moments of vulnerability so heart-crushing that when it was over I wanted to watch it again. The acting is natural and often visceral, and Paul Mescal and Frankie Corio have lovely chemistry. Any film that has me feverishly looking up other interpretations and has stayed in my brain for days on end is worth celebrating.
Oh, yes.
Next is The Wonder, starring Florence Pugh, which follows a young girl who enraptures a town by going weeks without food, seemingly by the grace of God, and one woman arrives to verify what's actually happening. Stories about scientific skepticism versus how Christianity was enforced in the past are a dime a dozen. What makes The Wonder so effective are 3 things. First, Florence Pugh's character is fascinatingly flawed. Second, the acting is great across the board. And third, the cinematography is beautiful in a very understated way. There's a confidence to the visual composition and efficiency that keeps the story engaging without distracting from the story. I'm not crazy about the fourth wall breaks that bookend the movie, but apart from that, The Wonder is a well-realized exploration of familiar themes. Plus, it's on Netflix, so pretty much anyone can watch it, which I would recommend you do, instead of, rewatching whatever the hell Stranger Things Season 4 was trying to be.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
Oh, yes.
Speaking of Netflix, number 8 is a film I almost missed until I caught it the day before recording this, and that's The Stranger. Gotta give a shout out to Ludovic Bagman on Letterboxd for introducing me to this one. How do I put this? The Stranger is wild and slow at the same time. The story is one of the most engrossing undercover operations depicted on film. Anyone with even a passing interest in psychology has to watch this movie. The suspect is such an interesting character, bizarre, creepy, and exposed in realistic ways. You've probably met someone like him. The Stranger boasts a lot of technical skill. It's well shot, the ambient music is suitably moody, and the editing keeps that mood in place. There's a timeline of an abduction, as described by detectives, that is a perfectly paced slice of crime thriller exposition. That scene is so fun to watch. The sound mixing is a highlight, both in its quality and creativity. The Stranger would have worked on its story alone, but the atmosphere is what kept me so locked in from start to finish. And while it did briefly confuse me, like why is there such a massive multi-departmental search for one abducted child, I realized that this is a true story and it took place in Australia. Must be nice to not have so many shootings. I guess that's the trade-off for living in a place where your cutest animal sounds like death metal.
Oh, yes.
Anyone who watches my horror videos can probably guess which horror film made the list. Yes, the Taiwanese found footage movie Incantation is my pick for number 7. I love this movie. In contrast to the bad pacing of Hellraiser and Smile, the insufferable protagonists of that murmuring episode of Cabinet of Curiosities and Smile, and the unoriginality of Orphan First Kill and Smile, this is a big breath of fresh air. It achieves something I didn't think was possible, and that's bringing some life back to found footage horror. There's still room to experiment, and Incantation is always trying new things. Interactivity, the elongated chanting scene, and it still blows my mind that there's a montage in a found footage horror flick, and it works? Incantation's biggest success is its handling of the mother-daughter relationship and how that drama moves flawlessly with the horror plot. The lead actress gives a powerful performance, the scares are effective and imaginative, and that's the thing, Incantation puts the work in, and for me, it paid off big.
Oh, yes.
At number 6 is my least favorite title to say, and that's Everything Everywhere All at Once. Even if I abbreviate it, it sounds like the show Home Improvement. It'd be easy to recommend the movie merely by describing things that happen in it, like the Jackie Chan style fight with a fanny pack and rocks from a fish tank, or the universe where everyone has hot dog fingers. This film is messy and even a bit overindulgent, but isn't just the best multiverse movie I've seen, but one of the best movies of the year because of how expertly it intertwines all the colorful hysteria with a heartbreaking, relatable relationship. My sister described this film as a mother-daughter relationship so powerful that it splits the universe. I don't think I can put it any better, so I'll just add that the visual effects are pretty incredible given the small team, and the sequence on the stairwell where our hero dispatches enemies by appealing to their desires is even more entertaining than it sounds. Everything Everywhere All at Once is a sandbox of creative freedom, a heart-wrenching drama, a slice of existentialism, and a roller coaster that everyone should watch. Seriously, if this gets nominated, that's a sign that maybe the Oscars have learned from their mistakes. Jimmy Kimmel is hosting again? Well, never mind then.
Oh, yes.
Top Gun Maverick is everything a modern action film should be. No scene goes on for too long, the action uses practical effects when it can and is enthralling to watch, and, unlike the first Top Gun, the action dictates the plot. The first and second acts focus on training pilots for a specific mission, and the last third is that mission. This creates a consistent narrative thrust. You may think, well, that sounds easy, but you'd be amazed how many movies can't make their plots have momentum. And the action is jaw-dropping, just want to make that clear. Holy crap, does this make The Gray Man look even worse by comparison. Oh my god, you can't even call that one dumb fun, it's over 2 hours and it's garbage. The scene with Iceman is the story peak in terms of quality. You get a sense that these are longtime friends, the dialogue is earnest, and both actors, especially Val Kilmer, do a great job. Tasteful, just the right runtime, and quite beautiful, this is one of many surprises in the film. And that's really what I want to emphasize. While Top Gun Maverick's action is well orchestrated, story-wise it offers tact. It treats its emotional themes with respect, and doesn't render these non-action scenes into skippable, just get to the good part moments. Also, Tom Cruise really is moving at extremely high speeds for parts of this movie. Watch how his eyes are drooping. Listen to his breathing. Tom Cruise, honestly, what even are you, man?
Action! Let's see the movie.
Dude!
Oh, yes.
Number 4 hails from Germany, and that's the recent adaptation of All Quiet on the Western Front. Whew, this movie. Okay, something to know. This is more gruesome than Saving Private Ryan. The hellscape of World War I trenches is depicted in grotesque, unforgiving detail. The fighting is desperate and ultimately pointless, poignantly illustrated through its visuals and the actors' performances. As heavy as this film punches when it comes to the action, it is just as concerned with the mental impact on the soldiers. All Quiet on the Western Front covers the majority of the war, and we witness new tech being introduced. This isn't only accurate and helps distinguish the battles, but leads to some horrifically effective moments. In one harrowing sequence, the French unveil a new weapon I won't spoil, and its presence frightens the Germans so much it felt almost traumatizing to watch. The film also uses smart match cuts and transitions to contrast the warfare and the opulent lives of the elites sending these boys to die. The cinematography is breathtaking, and I'd be amazed if it didn't win the Oscar. Some of the dialogue didn't work as well as the film wanted it to, but at least those moments were always visually rich. For me, the movie is better than 1917. But a warning, this one doesn't mess around.
Oh, yes.
At number 3 is Triangle of Sadness, and don't let the name bamboozle you, this is a very, very funny comedy. Triangle doesn't pick one joke and TikTok it into oblivion. It chooses a more general topic, that being the rich and unaware, and pokes it with needlepoint precision. How models can be treated like trained seals, how Instagram influencers fake enthusiasm, How the chance to meet and or complain to the captain of a ship is given a higher priority than the ship being at a 45-degree tilt. All of these sequences are hilarious, and the film knows how to use these jokes to further the story. It's a good-looking film. The performances are solid, the music works well to heighten the absurdity without becoming annoying to listen to, and the ending will be a fun debate for many. This is a special movie, the kind where the best sequence features multiple passengers puking their guts out. The story is funny, but there is a dark undertone that never quite leaves. I would call this an experience that crosses generations, and one with a fiercely intelligent script that still knows when to and when not to take itself seriously. And thank God for that.
Oh yes.
The runner-up is Tar. Like Aftersun, it's hard to sell this one, which is probably why the trailer is so misleading. In painstaking detail, we see her day-to-day activities, her expert knowledge of the craft, and her command of people around her. Sounds boring? Nope. It is utterly fascinating watching this play out. Small dramas crop up early on and only intensify as the film goes on. Tar herself is an entertaining subject. She is so controlled in her poise, speech patterns, vocabulary, and even relationships. It's like watching those expert react videos if the expert revealed a darker side to them and tumbled into violence and insanity. See, early on, I wasn't just intrigued by this character, but I supported her. Her competence, her intelligence, and her delicious takedown of identity politics and the willful ignorance it harbors. For real, I wanted to cheer during that scene. It is so satisfying. However, as the plot progresses, so do those mini-dramas that bring to light Tar's professional and physical manipulation, selfishness, and lack of morals. Above all else, Cate Blanchett is the reason to see Tar. She is phenomenal and gives the best performance of the year. I could watch her read a dictionary. It's a long movie, but a great movie. Beautifully crafted from top to bottom. Which brings up my number one pick, but first, some honorable mentions. Athena isn't very good, but you have to watch the opening 10 minutes on Netflix. Decision to Leave is beautifully shot and edited. Nope is gorgeous, clever, and terrifying when it wants to be. Holy Spider is a well-crafted look at serial killer behavior and cultural bias. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is fun, fun, fun. Pearl has a fearless lead performance, and The Batman's First Third is the greatest superhero film I've ever seen.
Oh yes.
And at number one, the finest film of 2022 is The Banshees of Inisherin. Without a doubt, this is the best script of the year. And the craziest part is that you can easily describe the plot as two best friends are living in Ireland and one stops being his friend. Like, that's it. And what's even more wild is that this simplicity is what makes the plot function so well. The first man's explanation for this abrupt break of the friendship couldn't be more basic, and the film explores how a basic answer only increases the confusion, frustration, and number of follow-up questions. This dynamic gives birth to a hysterical first two-thirds. I mean, I was laughing my ass off. The film also looks amazing. Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson are fantastic and easily slip into these characters. Then the last third of the movie arrives, and the laughter stops. Banshee's last third is absolutely gut-wrenching, and hits all the harder because of how certain elements were established. Writer-director Martin McDonagh has a knack for dark comedy that makes you laugh out loud, yet doesn't let the sadness or repercussions of its plot falter to make it an easier watch. This last third is a tonal switch, but it is justified, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It moves at a good pace, the dialogue is brilliant, and the events are as hilarious and tragic as comedies and dramas can be. Feckin' hell, what a triumph. The best film I've seen from 2022. Have you seen any of these movies? What's your list? Comment below, check me out on Letterboxd, toss me a subscribe, and stay tuned for my Oscar nominations reaction, which I'll be streaming on Twitch. As always, thanks for watching.